What's up guys, I'm Tony Wodarck. I'm a photographer out of Southern California, and today I want to take you through my film camera collection. Let's jump into it. First, we'll start with medium format. This right here is my Contax 645. This thing is my go-to wedding day camera, and I just absolutely love it. It's 6 by 4.5, so I get 16 frames per roll of 120 on here. Shoots up to 1/4000. I have the 80mm Zeiss lens on it, and it's probably my favorite, if not one of my favorite lenses of all time. So this camera is just awesome to use. Auto winds, auto rewinds, built-in light meter, tons of just great features, and it just is an everyday workhorse for all of my wedding day work. And so I just love this thing. Really expensive, and every part for it is kind of ridiculous, but this is my favorite all-time camera and what I've kind of built my wedding portfolio around. Next up is the Pentax 6.7. This is my go-to medium format camera for personal work, for all my fun stuff that I shoot. Basically landscapes, portraits, all my family stuff. Basically anything that I want to shoot for fun, I use this camera. It's a little too slow to load for work stuff. If I was doing a portrait session or maybe an engagement session, I could use it, but for the most part, I'm just using this for personal. It's really heavy and massive, so it takes up a lot of room in my bag, but when I'm traveling, this is just amazing. I love the 6x7 negatives, how much information you get. This 105 2.4 lens is ridiculous, and then I also have a 55mm lens, and I just love some of the work that I've been able to capture with this camera. So yeah, this is the Pentax 6.7. Got the wooden handle, I've got this 3D printed right hand grip, and yeah, it's a super fun camera to shoot with. Now we get into my everyday 35mm camera. This is my go-to personal walk around, shoot everything camera. This is a Leica M6 TTL, and I've got the 50 Summilux 1.4 aspherical on it, which is one of my all-time favorite lenses. It's just a beautiful lens. I like the TTL because it has a bigger shutter dial. So when you're holding the camera to your face, you can kind of just roll your finger across the top in the front here and change your shutter and look through the viewfinder and see the meter. It's a much easier process than the Classic, and the shutter dial goes the right way, whereas the Classic goes the opposite way. So yeah, I really like the TTL. I upgraded the viewfinder to have the MP viewfinder, and yeah, I just love this thing. This is my one camera out of my entire collection that I'll never get rid of. Then I've got my go-to workhorse wedding day camera, family camera. This is the Canon EOS-1V. This is an insane camera. It basically goes 1/8000th shutter speed. Put all my Canon EF lenses on here, so I have the 85 and the 135. So I really like this. Just at a wedding day, I can throw this around my neck and throw an 85 or a 135 on there. I'm shooting with my Contax 645, which is a 50mm equivalent focal length. Then I'll have an 85 or 135 on this, and so I can get those really tight shots with that. So I'm really loving the Canon EOS-1V. The autofocus is super fast, great shutter speed. I shoot in aperture priority a lot, and it's really good with that. And so yeah, I'm just loving this camera. This camera is the Nikonos 3. So this is an underwater 35mm film camera. Super fun to use. It's basically watertight and sealed with O-rings. And yeah, it's a 35mm 2.5 lens that I have on it, and it's zone focusing. You've got a little viewfinder to look through, but it's just kind of coming straight out here and has little frame lines inside of it. It goes to 1/500th of a second. Yeah, the lens goes 2.5 to f/16. And so yeah, this is a super fun camera. I haven't shot much with it. I'm planning on bringing it to Hawaii this winter and shooting a bunch of underwater stuff with it. I'm really inspired by like Instagrams like Megan Shoots Film. She uses a lot of these cameras, and I just love her work. And so yeah, I'm excited to shoot this one more. This one's not getting used as much as I would like. The water in California is not that clear around me, but yeah, I plan on trying to get out to Catalina and then going to Hawaii and trying to shoot more with this. I took it to Cabo earlier this year, and it was super fun to have. It's even fun in just kind of intermittent weather or when you're near water. We were by the pool and I was shooting some photos with it. So yeah, super fun camera. Then this is my latest pickup. I can't really say much about this because I still have my first roll in here, but this is the Fuji Klasse original, and it's the 38mm 2.6 lens. So I originally had the Contax T2. I love that camera. I ended up selling it. I kind of regretted selling it, but I wanted to basically fund my Leica M6. Then I didn't have a point and shoot for a while, and I was trying to figure out which one I wanted to get. I got my wife the Olympus Mu 2, which I really like. That's an insane point and shoot camera. The thing I don't like about it is that you can't choose your aperture, and so that was kind of one of the big things. With the T2, when you go to choose 2.8, it actually puts it into auto, so you can't choose 2.8. So that was what I liked about this camera, is you can choose your aperture and you can choose 2.6 as the aperture, which I like having the ability to do. And then also the Contax T2's minimum focal distance is 0.7 meters, which is like 2.5 feet, 2 feet. So with a 38mm lens, you can't get that close. You're pretty wide. And when I'm just walking around with a point and shoot, I like to be able to get in a little closer and get a detail if I want to. And so with this camera, it's a 0.4 meter focus distance, which is about a foot, a little over a foot. So yeah, it's super nice. It's got the little retractable lens and lens cover. It's got the date set where you can put the date on it. It's got a built-in flash. And yeah, it's a pretty awesome camera. I'm really stoked on the feel of it, the size of it, the build of it. I just haven't seen the look of it yet, so more to come on this, but yeah, I'm really stoked on this pickup. Then this is a recent gift that my dad gave me. This is the Canon 514 XL. This is a little Super 8 camera. I've shot 2 Super 8 videos so far, and they're just amazing. I've got a lot more planned, so I'm really excited to be using this. The Super 8 film itself isn't that cheap. I've been buying my film at Pro 8mm. You can basically buy the film and the processing and scanning all together, and it's a lot cheaper that way. And then also you can wait for sales, and I've gotten a bunch of rolls so far at 30% off, which is a lot cheaper when it's $80 for a roll of 2.5 minutes. And on sale, I've gotten it for about 50 or 60 bucks. So that's the film itself, developing and scanning all together. And so yeah, it's not cheap, but the look is just amazing and I just love it. So yeah, this camera is pretty much fully auto. You manually focus it, but auto aperture and shutter or whatever. And yeah, really easy to use. You basically just pop a cartridge in there and pull the trigger and you're golden. So yeah, I've really been loving this camera. Last up is the camera that started all of this, the Canon AE-1. So this is my first camera that I learned film on in high school. My dad let me borrow this. I still have it, and yeah, I still shoot with it. It's an amazing camera, super fun to use. I have the 51.8 on here. This is just a really popular, amazing film SLR to kind of just get yourself started with film. In high school, I learned shutter speed, ISO, aperture, all of those good things. And so I learned how to basically shoot a film camera and knew the basics of photography in high school. And I've carried that with me ever since. This is just a great classic camera. I'm super stoked on this camera. If you want to get into film photography, this is the camera I would recommend. You know, you can get them for 100, 200, 250 maybe. They're kind of going up, but yeah, it's a great camera that'll just last you and super fun to shoot with. Well, that's it. Those are all my cameras. I know quite a few of you have asked to see my collection. I've been shuffling around a bunch of cameras. Had the Canon EOS 3, got rid of that for the 1V. Was trying to find a point and shoot, figuring out what medium format camera I wanted to use. So yeah, it's a constant shuffle, but I'm really happy with where my kit's at right now. Basically every camera has a purpose in my kit and gets used frequently. And that's kind of where I want to be. I don't really want a film camera collection that's a collection. I'm not a collector, I'm a photographer. And so I try to make sure that every camera I have is getting used. This is probably the one camera that gets used the least, but I'll never get rid of this because this is my dad's and this is what got me started. And it's a super fun camera to pick up once in a while and use. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions on cameras, suggestions, whatever, comments, drop those below. Please like and subscribe this video. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.